First of all, I'm thick. Thick-minded. Like, I like things very...
Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And I'm just a girl.
So today is our first episode of the new year.
Woo!
Woo! Happy New
New
Year.
Year.
And we have a special gift for everyone today
We
in the
have
form of
a woman. Not just any woman. Today we have the first Kuwaiti PCT hiker ever. She is also an adventure extraordinaire, a occasional surfer, a master embroiderer. She has credits in several Marvel movies, and she's
a carpenter.
a carpenter on top of everything. Is there anything she cannot do? We'll find out today. Welcome, Fai.
Guys, I didn't think you'd make it this far.
She watches.
But we did. She watches, yeah.
إيه كلا I watch أدق على زينب وأقول لها أنت ليش سويت شيء؟
So Faye, tell us, is there anything you cannot do?
Heart surgery.
Only that.
Yet. But like Shabila. Like I think I could do it.
Of
Give me a
course.
scalpel. I'll figure where your artery is. I don't know.
It really is giving Gemini. Isn't it giving Gemini?
Big Gemini.
Well,
How hard could it be? I'll just read on YouTube.
I love that she's saying how.
Just consider my toxic trait
Yeah.
is I understand exactly what you mean. In my head, I believe if I saw a lion in the wild, he wouldn't eat me because like I understand cats.
There you go. Yeah. Of course.
100% I relate.
She'll be the first to go, actually.
She's like, no, guys, it's fun. I speak cat.
He wouldn't kill me.
All right. Well, today's episode is all about what it's like being a woman and a go-getter and staying in your feminine energy while doing that, and also being an adventurer. So, do you want to ask the question that you?
I mean, first of all, I'm actually really curious. Do you have a day job, or is your day job everything that we just cited?
Currently, no, I don't have an actual like خلينا نقول, typical day job. My day job right now is me.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm working on myself and my routine, and I think after a little over 10 years of in the, let's say, media and production industry, it's time to kind of do that change and just take the hobbies and putting 2% into those hobbies and making them a like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the theme for 2023.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, I'm just going to focus on
Yes.
myself and my hobbies and what I like.
Because you know what happens is like when you look, it's very important to have these kind of very rigorous and disciplined work in your experience. You need to experience those as like when you're young, when you're out of college and all that kind of stuff. It gives you a lot to learn. You meet different people. You know how to deal with different temperaments, different people and all that. But then when you realize that you can give a lot to خلينا نقول, a brand, an environment, the people around you, and you start to quote unquote lose yourself or what you want to do, then you know that you have that skill to put that into kind of just at least building the lifestyle you think like every day, being like alhamdulillah, this is what I want to be doing every day.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So we have to ask, obviously,
Hey,
as an adventure extraordinaire, what does being an adventurer mean to you?
for me it means getting out of my comfort zone, really exploring things in a way that's true to yourself. It doesn't have to be this grand 2,000 plus mile experience. It could literally be just going outside to Sabiya and enjoying a day, around surrounded by good people around a fire. It could be an adventure of like, oh shit, I need to go to this government office. That's an adventure in itself.
Yeah, that definitely is an
Yeah,
adventure.
You know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
each their own adventure. For me, it's just kind of going with a good vibe and a good attitude to really experience life in a way that's genuine and seeing the little things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you wanted to ask her something, right? About
I mean,
Ask away.
for those who because obviously I have no idea when you became an
amazing I am?
adventurer. How amazing! Yes, definitely. That's exactly what I was gonna say. When did this start? Because obviously, like, you don't just wake up one day and think, I'm gonna explore the whole world. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
For sure, yeah. Honestly, okay, let me tell you my life story.
it all started.
It all started in 1990.
So a 90s baby.
Yeah. أحلى سنة. No, so actually, like, I grew up in an environment with my family that we were very outdoorsy. Like, chalet was a thing. I learned how to swim before I could walk. We grew up bil bahar. My dad was a big, like, adventure or outdoors guy, and I kind of just how I grew up. And then that was kind of the environment, خلينا نقول. And then I moved to Vancouver to go to school there. And everyone was like, oh my God, how are you going to deal with the culture shock?
How old were you?
I was, I don't know, out of high school.
Okay.
Like for university, yeah. So everyone was like, oh my God, like culture shock. I'm like, no, guys, I had nature shock. Like, mo عادي, it's not okay that I open my apartment door and it's a forest.
Yeah.
You look up and it's like these cottony clouds. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what you're talking about now. You know what I mean? So the accessibility of just that kind of nature just took it to a whole new level. I started going on day hikes, camping trips. That's actually where I learned how to surf, which people find it very weird that I learned how to surf in Canada. You know what I mean?
Wait, you learned how to surf there?
I know. And things just kind of escalated from there. I have to give out a shout out to Haya because هي أساس البلد.
Yeah.
Because fast forward, I was working at this agency with Zanub, and I meet Haya, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going on like a hike trip for New Year's. You should come." وأنا دقت سلف. بس أحد يقول لي يلا فيش. I'm like, يلا فوقها, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what happened was at that time, it had been so long since I've been back and not had this like nature fix that I needed and didn't realize that I needed until I found the gem of Oman and how accessible it was to be like in Kuwait. And then it's an easy trip back and forth. And I literally started doing it once a month minimum.
Okay, so like for a weekend, you just go.
For a weekend, pack my bag, سيزا من الدوام للمطار ومن المطار للدوام. كذي.
Yeah.
Can't cycle like silly Zanub. She was like, let's pay. Oman.
She's
like,
on another hike.
and you're like off grid. You're just like really connected. And what was so beautiful about that was it was a different kind of experience because in Oman, it's like you connect to not just nature, but your culture nature.
Yeah.
Which has its own different experience, and the people around you are just like, you know, you're on that kind of same page, and things just honestly escalated from there. Yeah.
What is the craziest adventure you've been on?
So the craziest I think for me was when I went to it was Ba'man, actually. Yeah, it was Ba'man. And what you're doing is for 11 to 12 hours you're in complete darkness because you're abseiling down a cave, like from the top of a mountain, or actually it's a plateau, and then you're hiking and going down and up and down and up into a cave entrance.
And it's all dark.
It's complete dark. It's like you put your hand out and you can't see your hand unless
But
you have
how do
like,
you guys see?
Is it small?
like you have your headlamp.
Oh.
No, what's so crazy is that every like few meters it's a completely different terrain. Like there's a section called the catwalk, and it's literally like it's like shoulder to shoulder, like you have to take off your backpack and you're literally like going like this, like
For how long?
catwalking.
Can you demo?
Yeah, actually it's not like that, it's more like like you're freaking out, claustrophobia.
Yeah, that would trigger my claustrophobia.
Yeah.
I'd be like, get me out of here.
No, that was like, yeah, not that long. It's like probably like a few minutes or so. And then there's sections where it's just like so vast that I kid you not, I was like, I see stars. And they're like, Faye, you're going crazy. I'm like, no, but I see stars. They're like, Faye, you're in a cave. I'm like, yeah, but I see stars.
Yeah. But that's the crazy thing is that I feel like the best thing on a hike is enjoying the scenery. So I feel like mentally that's tough to like not only go on this like like challenging, physically challenging thing, but to also like be in complete darkness, I would lose my mind. I would
Oh my God,
lose
we
my
all lost our minds. You have to
Yeah.
lose your mind. But that's kind of also what's so nice because it's like a natural Epsom salt type of bath situation, you know, those like sensory deprivation things, because that's what it is. It's like literally a reboot to your system because
Yeah.
you go in, you're seeing the last little bits of lights, and then that's it. And then it's you and whatever's creeping and crawling,
Oh,
you know.
oh, I'm out.
But the fun about it is that this is a different kind of like nature
Yeah.
thing because you're not just enjoying the vistas and the views, you're enjoying different types of terrains, you're enjoying the challenge that you, oh shit, I could do that. I did like a 170-meter drop, or I climbed whatever, because literally it's like you're dropping and then you go up shway, down shway, up shway, and these are filled with rainwater pools and they're freezing. So you have to climb up, like rope climbing, jump into a pool of water, and then you start shivering, and then you have to climb back up, and then you jump into another
And
pool of
you
water.
have to climb, and you're wet from the pool.
Yeah, and you're like soaked.
Oh my!
It's so much fun, guys.
Doesn't
And
that
she's like, it's so much fun. I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare.
sounds like a torture? You know when people torture like prisoners of war or whatever? I feel like that's
Basically,
what they do.
I love
Are you
torturing
a
myself.
masochist?
A little bit. Is that masochist or sadism?
No,
What
it's
is it?
masochism.
Masochist?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
A bit of both.
So
We have to ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
You're an Arab woman.
I'm a yes. Last time I drank.
are you an Arab woman?
Am I?
Confirm.
لا والله عرجي يمني ما أدري. Yes, it is
You know,
confirmed.
I know it's 2023. Girls can do whatever they want, but you know, you what you do stereotypically is more. I mean, carpenter, for God's sake, you know, it's more traditionally what a man would do. And I mean, I think even in the West, the things you do, they're not what a traditional, stereotypical woman would look into. But, you know, these ideas are reinforced here, for example. How do you deal with that? How does your family deal with that? Are they accepting, or were they accepting at first?
So my family تبرت مني. No, they love me. They're super supportive of all of my craziness because that's just how it's just how it is. Like, alhamdulillah, I grew up in a place that I never had that experience where you can't do this or you should do this. There's like a few comments here and that, inshallah hadich, or like, why would you do that? Or like, oh, don't go to these places. But it was so like sporadic that it never meant a thing. And honestly, I give all the props to my mother because she had to raise 4 girls in this kind of world, and she made sure to like bring us up in an environment that nothing was impossible and nothing was hard. Yes, في كان الوعي ان there are gonna be these moments, but just go for it. If you're not doing something راح يأذي الثاني، غلط، عيب، حرام، هالسوالف, like those things, if it's not that, then why stop yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, I've been very pleasantly surprised is that I think is going into that, or sometimes when I go to Shweikh to go pick up wood or go to these like hardware stores or whatever, they're like the real ones that are middle كل العمال, I've been actually very genuinely surprised by men's reactions.
Okay.
They're so wholesome and they're so supportive. It's like adorable. You know what I mean? Like literally with this one time, this guy was like, oh, شكل عندكم ورشة. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna start doing carpentry. He's like, عفي عليك, good job. And like, this is so good. Like we all love, you know, it's one of those good things to do something with your hands.
Yeah.
And then he literally sat there with us for like 45 minutes looking at our cart, judging. But like in a good way. He's like, لا لا, you don't need this. هذا حق شنو؟ لا هذاك أحسن. هذا ما شنو. Like they were generally like really supportive and just wanted to help, which was so nice.
But they couldn't help not mansplain. They had
I
to
was
mansplain.
bored.
Yeah.
I was
like, there's
it's
that.
wholesome with a sprinkle of mansplaining.
There's some people who do that mansplaining hate,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Yeah. No, but it is sweet, you know.
it's super sweet. And like this recently, I've been working a lot with this carpenter who's been a gem of being like, yes, oh my God, I love what you guys are doing. And he's like giving notes and like helpful, super helpful. And I'm like, okay, يعني شوية this whole like approach of feeling reserved might also make you go into this with these preconceived notions of that I'm going to be struggling or people are not going to understand. No, just go fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing happened when you put it with my hike, is that I didn't expect so much support from people around the area and like around the region or our communities, to the point where I didn't expect anyone to be like, I really want to do this one day. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These experiences have made me switch perspective of being like, oh بس ناش بتقول, being like خل تقول اللي بتقوله.
Yeah.
المهم أنا مستانسة, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Did you get some negative feedback or backlash from society?
I wouldn't say it wasn't direct, because, you know, we're all, we love passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
You know, like I did get a few comments of like, just silly stuff.
Yeah.
It's very backhanded compliments.
Yeah, I remember I saw, what was it? Was it Kuwait Times, or you had a few news accounts posting about you, and of course, as your friend, I was like reading the comments and seeing what people were saying, and I was so mad, like. Oh, these girls are wearing shorts, and oh, what did you do? You just walked, I don't know how many miles and stuff like that.
What kind of accomplishment is
Yeah,
that?
that's not even an
better
accomplishment.
than you sitting in your diwaniya ordering KFC, honey.
Literally. And my favorite was, how are these girls there without a mahram?
Mahram, for those who
ما أدري,
don't
ما
know,
عندي أخو ولا
It's a
أبو ولا
chaperone.
ريال, شو تبون منو بيكون محرمي.
Is a male chaperone. Mahram is a male chaperone, for those who know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy, like, you know, because I'm proud of my friend for doing this, and you know, I especially since like I've seen these accounts like covering it, and I'm like liking it, and then you see these stupid comments, and you're like, it's so ridiculous. But how do you block it out? Like, how do you kind of like?
Honestly, like, haters gonna hate, right? No matter what you do, people were either gonna hate you because they want to do it but they can't do it from themselves, which I completely understand. Yani, let's be very honest. I'll check my privilege. There are a lot of people that aren't in the same position that I am, where I can literally be like, I'm gonna quit my job and go live, you know, off the land or whatever it is, you know? So I understand there's that sense of like, some people will put out their expression in that type of, I don't want to call it envy, but for the lack of a better word, envy.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, شوفوا, as long as I'm respecting, I have felt self-respect. These people, when they see these comments or they say this, they want to disrespect me. أنا عارفة نفسي. I know who I am. I don't need your approval.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As well as just like, okay, cool. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. It's not going to stop me from going and doing what I want.
Yeah.
It shouldn't stop you for what you want to do. And again, I always say this, if it's not something that's illegal,
Yeah.
you know what I
Emphasis
mean?
on illegal.
Illegal. And if it's not something that's physically or emotionally hurting someone, like directly, because hiking and these things hurt.
I was gonna say there's a lot of pain in going down a
Money.
cave.
But it's self-inflicted pain.
Yeah, self-inflicted pain.
Masochism.
Then I don't see anything wrong with what I want to do. But at the end of the day, it's like my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. عليهم بالعافية.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about these people anyways.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you will go on like and comment something negative about someone's accomplishment, like it's really better to just stay quiet. Like what are you trying to achieve by saying that?
Dude, I got some really funny, and see, this is what I'm telling you about, like backhanded things or like trying to be sly. Like I'm a person, first of all, I'm thick. Thick-minded. Like I like things very
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah. I'm
Like, I
size
hate
of steel.
to break it to you.
Do you see how many mountains I climbed? No, but I like things very black and white and very simple in a sense. So there's some people who, like, you can obviously see they're digging for something. Like they'll be like, شلون على الصلاة.
Okay. Translation.
Yeah.
How does that compute with your prayers?
Like how does that work for you for prayer times if you're all hiking this whole time? I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna answer that question. because I know what you want to know.
Yeah.
It's none of your business. And it
Your
has
damn
nothing.
business.
None of your damn business, son. Like, kefi.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I want to do. I know what I'm doing. If you are trying to genuinely know, so if you want to do it, عليش بألف عافية بس مو بهذا الأسلوب.
It's an invasive question that I think is like people like that think they're sly. They're like, oh, I'm just concerned, you know, but it's actually an invasive and very personal question.
And for those who are genuinely concerned, go ask your local sheikh.
All right. So for people who actually don't know what the PCT is, like we've been talking about the PCT, tell us exactly what the PCT
What does
is.
P, C, and T stand for?
Pepper,
Condiments, tomato.
condiments, and turmeric.
Ooh.
Pepper, cumin, and turmeric.
Oh, wow.
Are those
Yeah.
your favorite
It's
spices?
all my spices.
Yeah.
Allah. And what are your favorite sprinkles? What color?
Blue, white. I don't know. Anyways, no. So the Pacific Crest Trail. Yeah, it's one of the longest hikes in the world, and it's part of the Triple Crown in the States. There's three. There's the Appalachian, there's the Continental Divide, and the Pacific Crest, which is basically, it's like from border to border. Each one has different terrains because it goes through different states. This one goes through all of California, Oregon, and Washington. And you can do it either starting from the south and you go all the way to the north, which is most common. And then there's some people who do it from the north to the south. And on the trail, on this experience, we found out that a lot of people do sections throughout years. There are people who just do certain parts and that's it. That they're good with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about 4,000 kilometers, 2,560 miles to be exact. So around the 4K. KM.
And she did that.
Dude, I walked for a lap.
I just have I got so many jokes, but the reality is that what you did is unbelievable.
Unjokeable.
It's like what, I'm gonna crack a joke. Like, I could never. I'm at 40 minutes into walking a street. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that was me every day though.
How do you? Okay, so I have so many questions, but I have to ask the first thing, which is, how do you train for that?
I didn't.
What?
Honestly, like
I mean, your whole life was kind of you training for it.
so
She's like, I just go down caves that don't end.
no, honestly, like this is what I tell people is that I don't consider myself like super athletic. Yes, I'm active. Yes, my lifestyle and the things I like to do, the activities I like to do are on the side of like physical activities.
Athleticism at its finest.
Yeah, you know, but like it's very like I think it's what I do on my day to day is very like average, let's say, like an average active person. I'm
Yeah.
not a gym goer. I'm not like a everyday like. If you think about that, Zanoob is a lot more athletic than I am. I go for a walk like once a month. You know what I mean? I like Allahumma. I have my dogs that I walk every day.
Yeah.
My trips are once in a blue moon at this point. You know what I mean? So I didn't really train, or it's impossible, I think, to train for something like that. There are people who do a lot of like test runs. They do test hikes. They train. Alim بالعافية, for me, this is not kind of like my approach to these things. I like to kind of learn on the job.
You really are like a very like, let's do it. Let's see. And that's the thing, like whenever I've done adventures or whatever with you, and I'm like, she makes it look so easy that I feel so safe when I'm with her and protected.
وأنا من داخل.
Yeah, but you don't show it. She's so calm. She's like, she has a solution to everything.
I like that a tall girly feels safe from little Miss Polly Pocket over
Yeah,
here.
because I'm like closer to the ground. There's more gravity, you know? There's like, I'm stable.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
You're more a target for birds than everything else out there.
I can camouflage. Get
Yeah.
into tight spaces.
Yeah. Not the
Sorry.
wink.
Musiba. So okay, you didn't physically prepare because you're delusional. Did you mentally prepare for it? Because how long is this hike? Like, how many months long are you walking here?
100%. So honestly, these kind of experience and anything to do outdoors and when you're putting yourself in quote unquote survival mode is completely a mental game.
Yeah.
Like I have seen people who this is their first time off of their couch in their life, and do this with flying colors. I've seen people who are super strong, they are athletic as fuck, everything, but they break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all about how you kind of ration yourself, how to kind of listen to your body in a sense, and just how to give yourself a push. Because like there's so many days where I'd wake up, I'm freezing, I'm wet, everything I have is wet. Outside is just nasty. I feel disgusting. I haven't showered in a week, and all I want to do is just curl up and sit in my sleeping bag, but I can't because I am carrying 2 more days worth of food. And if I sit here, I'll have 1 more day, but I'm 3 more days away. You know what I mean? So it's like قسماً عليك يلا go معي.
But how many months were you doing this for?
I think it was 5 months, 6 months.
You
5
went
months.
in March?
So from April to end of August.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when I think we have to sort of explain, because I think people want to visualize. I personally want to visualize when you say you wake up wet, like, so you sleep, you're carrying everything on your back.
Yeah.
What are you carrying?
So you're carrying your entire home and kitchen, essentially.
And bathroom?
Like, the outdoors is your bathroom. So you have a shovel
already.
Yeah.
No,
So you have a
I've been out there.
shovel.
She's been
No, it's so liberating. It's how God made us.
God, how God made you.
هذا ترى التويلت الفرنسي مالكم مو مالنا.
I don't claim that. Give me
No. So yeah, you only carry a shovel and like wet wipes and stuff like
a
that.
shovel.
A shovel, like a specific shovel, just for your.
So
business.
just explain to everyone just to move on from this conversation.
I'm not done.
I'll talk to you later. How do you squat like this?
She's going to ask you all her questions after.
Okay. After the break.
After the break. But can you explain to everyone the food situation? Because
Yeah.
I've asked you this.
Yeah.
But
So a lot of people had the misconception that we were literally going to be carrying 5 months of food. And I think I would have died if I did that. So essentially what you're doing is there are a lot of towns along the way. There are towns that are like actually big and some population fiha and supermarkets and all that kind of stuff. And then there's like these cute little pit stops with a general store. Sometimes they have nothing. So what you do is there's 2 things. We prepare a lot of boxes beforehand that we ship to ourselves later that have like the food that you're carrying, because what's happening is that you're walking basically essentially from town to town on the trail.
Yeah.
So you're carrying however long it's gonna take you to get from that town to that town, and it depends on your pace and physically how long it is. Some people try to do really long miles a day, and they go from one town to the next in 2 days. There are people who like to do araha, chill, 5 miles a day, 10 miles a day, so they'll take like a week or more than a week. Wow. You know what I mean? So it all depends on you. But essentially what you're doing when you're carrying your food is you're rationing to see how many miles am I going to do every day?
yeah.
How long is it from this town to this town? Do I want to stop at this town? ولا اللي بعقبها أبي أصملها like one go? Like there was a lot of times people didn't want to stop in certain towns. They're like, why? I'll carry a few more food for extra days and go to the next town. Why stop all the time?
Yeah.
And there's people who were the opposite. They were like, why carry so much if there's like 2 towns in between? So I'll do 2 days town, 2 days town.
What were you doing?
We did a mix of everything.
Okay.
There were some days where we wanted to stall and really enjoy. So we did 8 days in between. There are some times we were so exhausted and we didn't want to carry a lot of food. So we saw like, okay, in 2 days we'll get to this other town and we'll just restock and continue. It's just like an in and out. It's not like we stop and.
Sorry, where do you ship? Because I'm not sure I understand. Where do you ship the food to in that town?
So the thing is, America is really great with postal service. Like, thank you.
Thank you, America.
Thank you for not thank you America. Thank you the USPS only.
Thank you, SPS only. American, no, take it back.
So basically, almost all of these towns either have a post office or at least have stores that will accept packages for you. And you have to remember that all these towns are so used to the hikers coming, because like every year there's around 4,000 plus people doing this. So they've literally set up systems and they've set up things for us, which is so nice. Like it's so beautiful. So in advance, wherever you were, you kind of make these boxes, all the dry food, all the things you need, like extra toothbrush, whatever, in case there's towns that you can't find these things. And then you ship them to whichever town you are.
So it is important to stick to a schedule, because you're like, okay, I'm running out of food and my next batch of food is in this town.
100%. Like there's so many times where we would have to like push ourselves, really, really push ourselves to make it for various reasons. Like I remember this one time I did, what was it? I did like 12 miles, which is wide.
Yeah. 12 miles a day.
Not even a babe. We were towards the end, we were doing like 24, 26 miles a day. 12 miles, I'm saying like hala wa nasa sahalat. There's nothing.
I could never. Not me the other day being like, I feel like I could do it.
No, 100%. You could totally do it.
Yeah. No, but Naya was like, she was like, look me in the eye and tell me. I was like, for a week. She's like, for a week? You really think you could do it?
No,
I was
you
like,
can totally do it.
2 days.
She did that to me too. Listen, you tell her no.
She can totally do it. Like, I have to tell you guys, the first 2 weeks, I was exhausted. I was barely like pushing myself so hard. Like I was literally begging with myself and like doing all these like, Fai, if you do this, you'll do that. Okay, but if I'll treat yourself, you know, like whatever it is. And it was painful. It was really hard at the beginning to get to the point of even 10 miles a day, to get to the point of 16 miles a day. Like you also have to like listen. It's not like all of a sudden in this new place, new terrain, new atmosphere, new hawa, you know what I mean? And just do 20 miles right away off the bat. Mustahil. You know what I mean? It took like at least towards 2 months, we started getting a little stronger, a little faster, a little better. And then the third month we were like, okay, all the stuff that we're carrying, we don't actually need. We haven't seen in a while or haven't used. So we downsize. So صرنا أسرع. You know what I mean? It's a very like, you learning as you're growing and as things are happening. And you have to be so flexible and adaptable. Other than also the weather. Like Mother Nature has her own schedule. I don't care. You have a package coming in the next town. Screw you.
Yeah.
في عاصفة. You know what I mean? Or you think you're going to do here or get to there in that day.
Yeah.
Could not happen.
What is the most memorable moment in the PCT?
Most memorable. So there's this one time we were chilling in this town and we overhear that there's hot springs, but not on the trail itself. It's like off trail. So basically what it is, so for people who don't know, there's something called a trail, which is just like, you know, a regular and you have your maps that tells you this is the official PCT, this is where you should go. It tells where the water sources are, where the tents are. And we look and basically there's this hot springs that's about, from what we gathered, was 10 miles off of the trail. So you start going on the trail, then there's a side thing. Yeah. Do you go to the hot springs?
10 miles is a lot to go off trail.
No, that's nothing for her.
Alba for breakfast.
But doesn't that put you like a day behind?
So that's the thing. So we had to like strategize. Like, is this gonna put us a day behind? Is this gonna like, how is it gonna work? But then we realized that it kind of, even though we go off trail, we had to like hike a little bit more and then we'll go back. So it's essentially doing the same thing. Allahumma, it had like a fun little activity to do. So it turns out the side trail, little did we know, is not maintained. And so we were going up, and we're like, how far up are we gonna go? Because once you go up, it's gotta go down. Yeah. How are we gonna go down? So we're going up, and the trail starts to like disappear kind of situation. And then we finally get to the top of the peak, and we look over, and it's just like falling into the abyss. And I cannot see a trail. And I'm like, mind you, now see like my beautiful credentials of and how like superwoman I am. I have a crippling fear of heights. Crippling. Crippling. صح. أمركبك شيء. So I look there and I look at her and I look down and I look at her and she's like, it'll be fine. like
What?
It'll be fine. Because also at this point, what are you gonna do? No one's gonna come pick you up. You have to put yourself down.
Mom, come get me, Mom. I don't want this.
I'm telling you, you are the polar opposite. Me? Mom, come here, right? I'll send location. I'll send location now.
I told my mom she'd have a heart attack.
She'll give you a lecture.
So I'm like looking down. I'm like, okay, Fai, you got this. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Like, and we had our friend Damsel with us, and she was like, it's fine. Like, she also has like a little bit of fear, but she's a little stronger than I am about it. I'm like, okay, you know what? We are not in a rush. Inshallah, also the campsite. Bachar.
Yeah.
No, it's like this is what you have to do. So literally we mountain goated, and when I say mountain goated, I mean like this wall, like the wind. The mountain is like almost 90 degrees and you're just going down the zigzag and it's pebbles. And at that time it was very foggy and very like Jurassic Park kind of situation. It was beautiful. So we go down. Took forever, but I felt so strong. It was so nice. And then we walked a little bit. We turned around the corner, and all of a sudden we're like in this like forest oasis kind of situation. And you start like, and this guy comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hi, are you guys here?" No, thank God.
Tarzan?
No, he's like, "Hi, I'm like the manager of this place. Whatever. Do you guys want to? Are you here for the hot spring?" We're like, "Yeah." And then we go walk a little bit more, and then out of nowhere, in the middle of this beautiful forest, is this gorgeous hot spring. And we hang out. It's beautiful. It's amazing. We had such a good experience, and so that was like a highlight, that whole experience. And then the next day, I think, because that night we camped there. The next day we were hiking, and we were coming down, and I'm feeling exhausted because like Washington was Stairmaster on steroids. It was just, you're going up and down, like up, down. If I'm exhausted and I'm just like trying to like, keep the morale up in my head. And then I turned around this corner, and then hey, it's just like, stop. And I'm like, what? Sounded like khawafat. I'm like, what? She's like, wait, come here. Like, are you sure? Why? What's wrong? Because my head was like, oh shit, the trail is gone again. Like, it's gonna be another adventure. And we turn around this corner, and all you see is this beautiful, gigantic Glacier Lake and this like natural waterfall with this pool. And it was literally like out of a movie. Like, it was CGI. It wasn't real.
Wow.
And I just remember we had so much fun that day. We chilled. We did a ice cold plunge and had lunch, and it was so beautiful. And I think there was a lot of these moments where the lows are lows, but then right instantly the high is high. And that's really when I learned my biggest lesson in that experience was everything is temporary, whether it was good or bad. If you're tired, you're not going to be tired in a few more hours. If you're happy, something bad might happen.
Yeah.
You just got to keep walking.
I just think we glazed over the fact that you said the hot springs had a manager.
Imagine that's your job title.
No, trust me,
manager
honey,
of hot springs.
No, because it was like it was a cabin that had like they had to do
There was civilization.
There was civilization.
I
mean, civilization is a stretch.
Quotation marks civilization. Because I pictured some guy with like that's naked with like a bush crown and like bushes covering his private parts.
Welcome to the hot springs.
That's what I visualized.
No. He was fully dressed in a t-shirt. Not in a suit. He was wearing like some graphic t-shirt and khaki pants.
Obviously, we asked you about your most, memorable. That was, I would say, a positive. What was, I think, the scariest thing? Because obviously, there's, I imagine, bears, mountain lions, creepy crawlies.
Yeah, we had a running joke where we were like, what do you do if you see a bear?
What do you do?
Drop dead. No. So basically, when you see like real answer. Not our. No, is you make yourself big and scream, and just try to
Wow, I would do the opposite. I would be dead. I just that like, hey,
No, because if you crawl or like if you try to run away, it'll think you're prey and it'll just chase you and kill you. But honestly, the bears were very chill and docile. They didn't care. They wanted their berries.
my toxic trait is if I saw a bear, I really think he wouldn't kill me because I like love animals. Like,
You speak bear?
hey.
Yeah, she speaks bear now too.
I love animals so
Try it.
much.
Go to the forest and meet a bear. See what's gonna happen.
They would never hurt me. I love them.
Truly toxic trait.
So you saw a bear.
Yes, several.
Okay, and you made yourself big.
No, never. It was never those kind of encounters where I had to like fight off a bear. It was like in the distance. They were hanging out, chilling. There was this one time I came around the corner and a bear came around the other side of the corner and we saw each other and we both freaked out and it ran. I was like, huh? And then I felt like I kind of need to do something, no? So I blew a whistle. It's like, no, he stole it from me.
You took that moment away from me, bear.
I literally stood there being like,
So that's the noise you do when you see it. You're meant to blow a whistle.
yeah, because
Okay.
you have like a emergency whistle with you. Anything to make yourself big and loud.
Okay.
Like you scream, whistle. Also, because my friends were right behind me, so I wanted to give them like, I saw something. Beware.
Oh my God, Zainab! I just know your reaction if you saw me. You're like, Mia, look, there's a bear! Oh my God, bear!
Oh, it has happened. Like literally, Hey and I, the first time we saw it, like we were walking, we're chilling, and we were like literally on the side of a mountain, and then I hear something, and I'm like, hey, wait. It's like, it's just a bird. I'm like, no, it's not a bird. Birds don't make that sound. And we look over and we see like some rustling in the trees down. I'm like, oh my God, it's a bear. And we're like, because that was our first one, our first time.
Was that the first time you ever saw a bear in the wild?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And it was a cutie. It was like climbing up the tree and it freaked out when it heard us because احنا لعلعنو, Arab women.
Yeah. Yeah, I think being Arab automatically will scare the bear.
It would scare
'Cause
the
you're like,
bear.
you don't have to be loud. You're just Arab.
It'll scare more than just bears away.
Also the rattlesnakes.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
So obviously you mentioned earlier that you only have sisters and you don't have brothers.
Alhamdulillah.
Do you think I love that
I know
answer,
that's
actually.
right.
You know why? Because I feel like a lot of girls here feel like they need a brother to feel protected. But do you think that affected the way you were raised?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think I would be the woman I am today sitting here if I had a brother and if I hadn't lost my dad at a young age. Everything changes. It's like things, domino
Yeah.
effect on each other.
It made you more independent, you feel?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, آخر language. That also helps.
The
baby.
the youngest, the baby.
I mean, okay, so we have a running joke, Zainab and I, which is basically the Dead Dad Girls Club, which obviously very.
I'm the president.
She's like, I am the inventor. No, but it's funny because I think people who haven't lost their dad, women who haven't lost their dad, they don't really understand the feeling of sort of feeling like you have to be a man for yourself a little
Yeah.
bit. And I know Zainab's brother, I mean, you have, wonderful family members, you have wonderful brothers, but they don't live in the same country as you right now.
Yeah.
I am an only child and you are a family of girls. So do you feel like you were raised in a way that was maybe different to girls that had male figures in the sense that you feel like, hey, anything a man can do, I can do because no one is there to limit you. And maybe no one is there to say, no, I'll do it. Or this is for girls, or this is what the boys, moms, a lot of times they want girls to play with certain toys and boys to play with different toys. When a boy falls, the mom's like, dust yourself off, go off. Not every mom, I don't want to generalize, but you know what? Traditionally, I think we do see girls raised in a softer,
Yeah.
more, just be careful out their way,
Yeah. Honestly, like for me personally, in my experience, and alhamdulillah, from my family side, we have always been raised around very strong women. So I've never experienced that or even seen that. I feel like for me, that's a very like Western approach to raising women.
Yeah.
Yes, there is this connotation, be a lady, like be مرتبة, be my شنو. But I think also in Kuwait, alhamdulillah, we raise our women to be very opinionated and very strong. There are these moments. I never felt like I needed to be the quote unquote man. I felt, yes, my mom يعني توعت على الدنيا and realized that I have girls and doors don't open that much easier for women. So I just need to make sure that they're safe, they are taken care of, that they feel strong characters and not just like سمعا وطاعا. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you think if you had brothers, it would change anything? You would be able to do the things that you did, or it would change the way that your mom raised you?
I think it would, maybe, because again, it's all different scenarios. Like if we had one brother, then he's the brother, he's the boy, and all the four girls, you know. If I had multiple brothers, like there's all these different situations. I think everything's always going to be different if it's a different situation. It would have probably been a bit easier in terms of like logistics. Let's put it at that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Paperwork would have been a lot easier and a lot smoother and clearer. But in our case, obviously, as we all know, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think for me, it was a very blessing in disguise, because I think this experience or these things that are happening or happened in our lives, for me, it's been a beautiful journey to see my mom go through, not us. Like, I don't think it would have changed me so much, because yes, growing up in your home, how you're raised is very, very adi, but like I always am confused by, or not confused, I'm always shocked. Like me and my sisters are so completely different, because nurture versus nature, the people around you, what you want to do in life, كل الأشياء plays a bigger role sometimes. So for me, I'm just like happy for her that this experience really kind of like allowed her to grow.
Yeah.
And made us who we are. Yeah. So props to you, Sam.
Oh, shout out Sam. I think for me at least, like, because I do have brothers, but my brothers are younger. And so when I lost my dad, it was, I guess, tougher, because I lost my dad at an older age. Like I feel like the difference, I felt like I had to learn how to be independent and kind of have my own back at an older age. And it was a struggle, because there was this expectation from my brothers, like also like, because society tells you have brothers, so your brothers have to be involved in certain things. And I can't imagine what it was like for them as well, because they were younger, and now they were like pressured by our other family members to be like, take care of your sisters, you know what I mean? And they're still young. Like my youngest brother was, I think he was 22 or 23 when he lost my dad. And like, imagine like having to take care of your older sister. All of a sudden you're like, oh, she's my responsibility now. You know what I mean? So I think my mom also was raised to be strong. So she kind of like helped us be like, okay, no, you cannot be waiting for someone to come save you. Like there was this feeling of like, I need someone to come save me. But then I met you guys, my friends, who somehow, I don't know how we kind of attracted each other. Like we have a couple of other girlfriends who also lost their dads, and I think I learned
attraction.
It really is. I think I learned through our friendship as well that, you know, like these girls are going through it too, and they're independent and they're fine, and they're kind of being their own like backbone, you know.
100%, because sometimes like, yeah, it affects a lot, and it changes a big part of the dynamic. Like it changes, like when you mentioned it for you as because you were older, like I was 12.
Yeah.
So at this point where I am now, I've lived more without him than with him. So my reality is this is I don't know a different life or a different experience. For my sisters, there's a big age gap between me and my sisters. Like the closest to me, 7 years. So they're much older, and they experience it differently. And because, you know, you have this different relationship, it's more solidified, it's more harder, and kind of that same thing happened, whereas like I think they felt that they needed to step up, they needed to support, they needed to be kind of taking on a parental role. And for me, how that affected was just like, I see it as like, "إيه خير يا طير."
Yeah.
So he died.
I'm
I'm terrible. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. Yeah.
I want to ask something. Obviously, what you do is unbelievable. I mean, I've never come across, forget a woman, I've never come across a human being that has done so much and is so fearless. And honestly, like,
You're welcome.
she's such a Gemini. It's
I know,
unbelievable.
it's insane.
Comes out her. But like, you know, as someone that I'm very open about the fact that I admire it so much. Couldn't be me. And I'm at peace with who I am. I know who I am. I'm comfortable with that. Like, I aspire to one day camp outside, maybe in a cabin, not a tent. Anyways,
With your man.
yes, a hotel. Anyways,
5 stars. With service.
high speed Wi-Fi, fiber optic. Anyways. I think the question that would come to me is because when I do things, I tend to psychoanalyze why I do them, and I think for someone who's done such really genuinely, like, mashallah, impressive, unbelievable, like really things that I really genuinely do hope to aspire to, not even achieve, but get close to something like that one day. Really being at one with yourself, being open to everything, being fearless, being brave. Do you think you're looking for something? When you go, I know it sounds like a really random question, but when you go out of your way to try something so extreme, because these are extreme things, you know, no one just says out of the blue, I'm gonna walk for 5 months and it's gonna be a crazy hike and there's gonna be snow and heat and whatever. Do you think when you do that you're looking for, is
The
there
love of my lost dad.
no, but
I was like, let me fish for that answer right here. No.
I'm not, no, not,
Yeah.
but more like, are you trying to see how strong you are? You trying, is there something like that, or is it like, no, not at all?
Honestly, so this is a very fun question, because going back to what you guys were talking about is like, how did people react about these kind of stuff? Is a lot of people had this negative connotation in their question of being like, what are you gonna go find yourself?
Yeah.
Like, what is this exploring your journey, blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, I know myself, I know who I am. These experiences definitely solidify a lot of things, and we live in a world, you know, with the hustle mentality. We live in a society that's very loud and very busy. So
Yeah.
these things, for me, it's my solace. It's my way of reconnecting, or not reconnecting, disconnecting. It's my way of really being true to who I am. And it's not like I'm finding something. كثر ما it's a reboot of a system.
Yeah.
It just kind of really dials down the noise and allows you to hear yourself, to hear others, to value others, to kind of just come back refreshed. That's why I always tell you, go on a retreat.
So that's like
Yeah.
basically your retreat.
Yeah.
That I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
Could be me.
So we did say we're going to touch on femininity. I mean, I don't know how much time we have, but what does femininity mean to you? Because I feel like we do have this like misconception of like, if you do certain things, or like, for example, like,
Rihanna.
yeah, like for example, like me losing my dad, I felt like I had to be like more masculine to do certain things, but that's not true. So like, to you, what does femininity mean? You're in your feminine era.
I'm in my feminine era, Zainab.
I think we all are this year, like really.
We want to be mothers,
rediscovering-
like motherly.
Yeah.
Like الدنيا تعبانة, so everyone wants to be like cute and cozy and
Yeah.
like caring. To me, what is femininity?
Let's rephrase it. What does it mean to be a go-getter that's in her feminine era?
Yeah. That actually I feel like is
My nails did, my hair did. إلا جمالك.
جمالك.
No, I think with femininity is, it doesn't have to be very mutually exclusive with being a go-getter and
Yeah.
having your femininity. It doesn't have to be even mutually exclusive to gender. There are different genders that would have more feminine traits, more masculine traits. Honey, I go through it million mara in a day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's very normal and very common. There are certain situations where you need to be a little bit more in your face, Sometimes I think that is more feminine energy than masculine energy.
Yeah.
Being like, let me tell you, like very motherly, like I'm scolding you right now, bitch. Like
Being confrontational,
You know?
I think, is a feminine
is
thing.
very
Yeah.
confrontational.
Arguing is a feminine thing.
Yeah. I mean, cutting wood is very masculine.
No, but I do think it's funny
Hey.
because femininity, I think we are in 2023 breaking that barrier down.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean one thing. And I do love seeing other girls being incredible adventurers, go-getters, and being, I'm Superwoman. I'm a girl. Superwoman does everything.
Yeah.
She saves the world.
100%. No, and I love it. Like, I think a lot of people have this misconception about me is because I come off in a very, let's say, tomboy aesthetic.
Yeah.
Visually sometimes. That they're very like, oh yeah, like you're, And I'm like, no, actually, I love my feminine side. I
Yeah.
love being a woman. I might not be your stereotypical person that likes, I'm not Zainab. But we both have the same level of femininity, and the same level
I've
of
always admired
masculinity.
her nails in her hands.
Yeah,
She
honey,
has
like
the
I
cutest hands for
cannot.
rings.
I noticed, I clocked it. Like, she has such skinny fingers. I'm so
Yeah.
jealous.
I'm a hand model,
Yeah.
professional hand model.
When you carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you think
Using
I
a
make
saw.
I'm
views?
sorry, there is nothing.
Can you show your hands to the camera? Listen, you two people.
I only one hand
Lucky
right
you.
now. This is like broken and shit. So.
Imagine these little hands carpenting.
for
Yeah, that's what I love is that like
Chopping wood.
chopping
Yeah.
wood, yet you still maintain these like
Because inshallah ما تكون ايدي وسخة.
but that's the thing, like there is
I
this
won't shower for a
misconception.
week.
Yeah, I
But
won't
my-
shower for a
these
week, but
nails.
like my hand needs to be did. And that's so funny. Like going back to Sarir is like a lot of people are like, how are your nails so good on the PCT? I'm like gel, like
You
Yeah.
had times to go to nail stops?
like a couple of times.
Faye, I love you. Just for that.
Yeah, جمالك, babe.
Yeah, really.
Because again,
that's my girl.
mental game. If I don't feel good, like literally this one time, I had a full on breakdown because I just felt nasty.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was go take a shower.
I remember I talked to you after and you were like, I was crying in my tent. I just want to take a shower and blah, blah, blah.
And this is me, like, compared to people around me, we were clean.
Yeah.
Anyways.
White people. We're cutting that out. We're cutting that out.
No, I love that, what I just said. Hey,
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap up.
Yeah.
All right. So we're doing this thing
do it.
where we are having our guests,
Our previous guest. Ask the question to the next guest.
Who's the next guest?
Well, wait, hold on.
No,
First
I
of all,
wanted Zeus ask me.
so that's where we're getting to.
Okay, I'll calm
So
down.
the question was, what would you do if you were your mom 15 years ago?
I need to do the math. What year was 15 years ago?
I don't know.
No?
I'm not a math girl. You're the math girl.
20. Wait, hold on. 2000.
2008? Yeah, we're
2008. Yeah,
No.
2008. Well, 2008, 2009.
because
Yeah.
it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
What would I do
Differently.
differently?
Actually, it doesn't have to be different. What
No,
would you do?
she
What
didn't
would
say
you
it
do?
differently. She just said, what would you do if you were your mom 15 years ago?
I would be less stressed about what would happen in the future. And
Yeah.
be okay that everyone's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a common theme with our moms.
Yeah.
I can't blame them, honestly. Like,
I don't blame them at all.
yeah, they
It's scary.
really do
Yeah.
stress. I can't imagine like what it's like having 4 kids and
100%.
losing a husband and then not stressing over what
Yeah.
you're gonna do. So
Especially
Even
in
having one
situations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially in situations where you didn't, not that you didn't know that was going to happen, but you didn't grow up. Like, I feel like now, if I were to get married and had 4 kids and God forbid he dies, I would know what to do.
yeah,
Because I know how that is. But when
Yeah.
you're in a situation where you didn't even never fathom that this would happen to you at such a young age,
Yeah.
that's when it becomes harder,
yeah.
you know, and like surprising. But yeah, I think that's what I would do differently is just not be too. I would have yelled
Stressed.
at myself more.
Yeah.
You were too nice. You were
Yeah.
too nice. تعيش تطلع حمارة. شايفة نفسي. But also I'm amazing.
No, but I also think there's a common theme with boomers. Boomers have a lot of fear, anyways. Like all my friends' parents, most of them are boomers. some are Gen Xers, but I feel like
some are millennials.
some are, what did they have when they were 4? But no, but like I think there is a common theme with boomers where they do fear a lot of things. They do stress a lot, and I think millennials, because we've seen it all, we're just like, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Keep calm and carry on.
Keep calm.
Horrible.
Aren't they the ones who coined that?
Yeah, disgusting.
So we have to ask, what is the question you want to ask the next guest?
Would your younger self be proud of you today?
Oh, that's nice. Text me the question so I don't forget it.
And thank you. You have been watching a wonderful episode of
Sprinkles and Spice.
Like,
All right.
subscribe.
So
I love that she did the outro for us. She was like, actually, I'm going to take control. This is my show now.
she's like, we never thought we'd make it here. I'm
With a guest co-host, Fai AlOmran, your favorite adventure.
So
Yes.
Faye, thank you so much for coming
You're most
today.
welcome. My grace too.
We loved
This
having you. We love the
conversation, of
conversation.
course.
We're gonna go camp outside now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with a new episode and a new guest, hopefully. Or maybe not. I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know yet. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, do all of the
Leave
above.
a review. If it's not a 5-star review and you leave a review, I will find you.
Mia is actually a detective and a lawyer, so she will find you and sue you.
Bye.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Take you to the jungle.